Now this very black dark cloud formation over the top of the Rock of Gibraltar is very interesting because the wind normally tends to blow across the Atlantic, so the wind normally blows from the west, that's over to the right, but when the wind blows from the east, from the Mediterranean, it must be because it's sort of, you know, most of the winds are coming from there. Must be a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and as soon as it hits the top of the Rock of Gibraltar, it creates this amazing cloud, and it looks quite ominous looking. You see how black that is? That's quite a phenomenon. That is just created by that rock being there, because normally when the wind, as I say, is blowing from the west, from the Atlantic side, it's clear. The sky is completely clear. But when 24th of May, I arrived back, let's say, on the 19th, and I left this morning from Gibraltar around about 11 o'clock. Beautiful conditions, lots of ships anchored here in Al Jazeera Bay. Al Jazeera, I never know how to pronounce that. 14 knots of easterly winds. I just thought I'd come out on the jib, because when I turn, I'm going to go straight across now to Morocco because of the orca threat, and then when I turn downwind, I'll put the spinnaker pole out, probably on the, well, I'll see when I turn more, but I run more downwind, see which side I put the spinnaker pole up. And I'm going to use my staysail and my main boom as a sort of an active spinnaker pole for the staysail. So the reason being, I just thought it's safer to drop the staysail than when you do what I call goose winging. I'm being a bit technical for other people who don't know anything about sailing, but it's really nice today, perfect conditions. There I am leaving the Rock of Gibraltar, and they call that the rock wind, and it's amazing how that generates. What it does, the winds fly up on the eastern side of the rock, and then they form into a very thick cloud, actually, very black cloud. So that's when you know when to leave Gibraltar, when you see the rock cloud, because then you've got easterly winds to get you out of the Straits and into the Atlantic over to Morocco. The reason being is because of the orca killer whales. They've been attacking boats along the Cadiz side coast, and I thought, well, I won't chance it. I'll go across to Morocco and keep close in to the coast, and then obviously once I pass the coast of Morocco, I'll then head southwest to the Canary Islands. But they for some reason they attacked the rudder of ships and they damaged them. They've even sank some boats as well. I mean, small boat, you know, not big boats, just small yachts and maybe fishing boats and that. But there must be a pod of them that's very active in this area. So we just have to be careful, you know. There's lots of ships around. This is the main, it's quite narrow here between Spain and Morocco. and this is what they call a traffic separation scheme for the shipping. So I'm going directly across it at 90 degrees, which is what you have to do, but you've got to be very careful because of the shipping coming up quite quickly. But I have a special ship identification device which tells me how close the ship will come to me as I'm crossing, which is really good. So you can't really see the ships that well here, but there's about 3 of them. They're all working their way up, but I think I'm fine. There's one just passing me in front of me now. See the pole? That's a spinnaker pole. I've just put that out to starboard, and then the wind's right behind me, you see. So when I get round and out to the Straits, I'm going to put the staysail on the other side, and I'll use the boom as a spinnaker. That's the Genoa there, you see. I've got the engine on slightly because the wind's dropped, but we're running downwind. The wind's straight behind the boat from the east. Morocco.
It's kind of hard to answer, but like, do you like
This is the AIS system, the ship identification. I can't see a ship coming up now. So I'll just go and check that out. I like to do a visual once I see a ship. There's that ship now just coming up. Since I had that installed, the AIS system, the ship identification, it's been wonderful. Because the only trouble obviously being a solo sailor, there's always that element of risk. It's one of those things, you've got to sleep, you can't keep on going. I mean, I wouldn't say I've done a lot of sleeping last night. I tend to drop off and then get up and check. So here's this ship coming up now, and it showed that right on the AIS, told me what speed it was, the closest point of approach towards me, and it's a really fantastic, reassuring thing. I mean, this is probably doing about about 15 to 18 knots, you know. Before, let's say, steamships, coal-fired steamships, you have to have all these bunkering stations all around the world to go in to fill up with the coal. So quite a change from sailing to the first fossil fuel vessels. That meant they could run on time schedules, very tight schedules, all these ships. They couldn't do that with sailing ships because you were in the vagaries of the wind, and it's completely revolutionised how things are transported around the world. Containerisation, which came about in the 50s slowly, and that just changed things as well. So I mean, that's a Maersk vessel. They're one of the biggest containerised shipping companies in the world. Phenomenal amount of goods are transported, which is the easiest way to transport thousands of tons of cargo all around the world. And the problem is, most modern people, they don't realise it. They order something on Amazon or eBay or what, and then you look at the guy, I always laugh, and sometimes it just comes direct from China, and you think, well, how have you done that? Tiny little thing, it's not worth a lot of money. It's just a phenomenal system. But you know, like with America, this is why I laugh at this, the orange, I call it the orange dictator. He hasn't got a clue, and I mean, it's caused all sorts of havoc, this thing and his tariffs. I'm sorry, I'm being political, but that guy is one ignoramus. Yeah, he just hasn't got a clue, and I'm not. He's like millions of other people that don't know how this modern world of ocean transportation actually works, you know. But I do, because I see them all the time when I'm out sailing. Some of them, these Panamax ones, the size of them. Anyway, I'll shut up. I was on my soapbox then. I've ridden the stay sail, and they're using the boom here as a spinnaker pole. When I cross over to Brazil, I'll be using this configuration because it's easy to drop the sail down quickly if the winds really increase, and they can do on the trades. Always a nightmare rigging things up because the ropes get fouled up. You've got to try and make sure everything's running smoothly, and you think you've got everything dead smooth and then something gets fouled, you know, so it's quite hard work actually, even just rigging up a small stay sail like that. So I'm doing about 4.5 knots with only 11 knots of wind, so that's fine, you know, that's perfect for sailing, you know. Obviously as the wind increases, I mean it got up to about 18 knots last night, and then obviously the speed increases. So yes, I did an awful lot of sleeping, and I really struggled. I more or less slept right through the night, but not continuous, you know, I kept waking up every hour or so, and I was amazed how quickly I dropped off to sleep because I was so tired. I haven't been doing any sleeping in today. I've been listening to some music and also reading as well. I'm reading quite a good book. I think I've read it before. It's called Bird Song. It's set at the start, just before the First World War in France. An English guy, and then obviously that's the war itself. I'm sure I've read it before, but I can't remember the story at all. Like reading a new book. I like reading and laying in my bunk, you know. I do come up on deck and do a bit of sunbathing, but not for too long. Yeah, it was. The wind dropped right down last night. I had to put the motor on. I was under engine through the night because the winds were very light. Then they picked up. I changed the sails round. Did you know, around to starboard? To port. The wind's coming from the northwest, so the wind's picked up, and I'm getting along quite nice just on the Genoa itself. Yeah, so it's a bit of a grey day today actually, which is fine, that's good. And I've been doing quite a bit of relaxing down below because I slept really well last night. I do wake up and then come up on deck and then check the AIS, the ship identification thing on my plotter. But no, I more or less slept right through. I was felt really tired. I had a few issues last night which I had to sort out, so I didn't really get to put my head down till about 1 o'clock, so I was pretty knackered, you know. This is great sailing, really nice. Some white caps, probably about 15 knots, 16 knots. I'm doing probably about 5 knots. Nice, good. Not a lot of shipping. I have seen shipping, but it tends to be off to my starboard, to the right, you know. Quite a bit off, but it's great having the AIS. I can see how, you know, what the name of the ship is and the speed it's doing and everything. And I've got this new device called a Garmin InReach Mini 2, and I'm sending messages to my contact back in the UK just to let him know I'm okay every day, and it shows him on the Garmin Explorer exactly where I am, and it's just to reassure family and if I ever ran into any issues. It's a satellite, it's linked to the Iridium satellite system. It's only a tiny little device, but it's fantastic. Just enough just to reassure people that I'm okay and well and safe. There is an SOS thing on it as well. You can press a button if there's any issues, you know. So it's these extra bits of safety. I do have electronic beacons as well, which if I set that off, that would go to the search and rescue, again on satellite. But especially with me being all on my own, you know, you need something like that. I bought this little device when I was back in the UK. He does a lot of mountain climbing. One of the mountain guides had one of these. It's the Garmin InReach Mini 2. and you're obviously connected to the satellite system Iridium, and you can send messages just to say that you're okay, and it'll show your position on the Garmin Explorer app. And I sent a message to my contact just to let him know, and he sent me a message back to say great. So I'll send him a message every day just to let him know I'm safe. There's an SOS button on the side as well, and yeah, it's a really good piece of kit. Not too expensive, but you've obviously got to pay for the satellite part, but it wasn't ridiculously expensive. I just thought I'd go for the top one. It might be a bit over the top, 50 quid a month, but you know, I mean, when you think of it, this is really important to have these sort of devices, especially when you're out in the oceans, you know. It's landed on the deck, must have been this morning. It's a needlefish. They normally swim near the surface. What's happened is it's jumped out and it's landed on the boat. Now when you cross the Atlantic, you come and see shoals of these flying fish, and they land on the deck, and they're quite big and they're really quite nice eating. But I won't eat this, it's too small, you know. I'll throw it back into the sea. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when I cross over from Cabo Verde to Brazil. I'm hoping I will see plenty of shoals of the flying fish. Obviously they've been getting chased by predators, and it's amazing how far they fly. It's just, and when you look at them, they've got these wings like a gossamer, you know, really beautiful. And the colourings are beautiful as well. 26th of May, I've got good winds. I was motoring from yesterday evening through the night. Winds dropped right down to about 5 or 6 knots, and so the winds picked up this morning, so I'm sailing again. I've just got the, I had to change things around slightly. I've got the Genoa with the spinnaker pole out to, let's see, to port. And she's doing really well. She's like 5 knots. I mean, just that Genoa. I have got a stay still as well. I did try and hoist that up earlier on as well, but it just wouldn't sit right, you know, with the way the wind was in this direction. I'm coming up to a cape. Forgetting the name of the cape now. They're off Morocco, and I'm going to be fairly close to that cape. I want to make sure I can round it safely, and then I head down to Lanzarote. To my next waypoint, about 57 miles. So I'm doing well. Hopefully these winds will stay. There has been shipping around, but it tends to be off to my starboard. But I did an awful lot of sleeping last night. I was pretty shattered. Had a few issues I had to sort out on the boat, you know. And it was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was shattered, you know. I was listening to like a podcast type thing, you know, and a bit of music, and as soon as I put my head to the book, I was fast asleep. So I woke up a few times through the night. When I do wake up, I come straight up on deck. It's the morning of the 27th. It was quite busy last night, shipping wise. Surprised. Lanzarote, not too far away now from Porto Claro. It's around the corner here.